after the chaos of 2007 ended, I wasn't really sure what would happen in 2008. However, I, along with some of my friends, decided to open 2008 with a bang, and, well, we took this picture. Early in January of 2008, Runescape had possibly one of the most anticipated updates ever, the summoning skill. Initially, I was really excited because I heard that you could become a level 138 as opposed to 126. However, my initial excitement started wearing off once I read the guide in the manual because it all seemed really confusing. There were charms and shards and pouches and limitless creatures to summon, and the one thing that really fazed me was that the actual experience for the skill came from creating the pouches, not summoning them. However, after I started the quest and actually started the skill as well, I found that it was a lot simpler than I had read in the knowledge base, and I started to appreciate it a little bit more. The one rant that a lot of players had when the skill first came out was that the summoning creatures available had limited functionality, and so that's why Jagex released the Summoning Pack 2 a few months later. After achieving 91 rune crafting and being able to craft double nature runes, I finally achieved a very comfortable financial status, and with my new riches, I decided to go for a level 99 and a rather expensive skill. So I spent a bit of time rune crafting, built up around 40 mil, and then I bought everything I needed for level 99 crafting, and it was very satisfying. The release of QuickChat was not very well received in the general population. However, it did produce some funny results. As the game of Castle Wars was coming to a close, I decided to do an emotion, and for some reason I got stuck inside the game and then teleported into a wall for a few seconds, and eventually I went back to the lobby, but it was kinda cool to be just stuck there. Initially, the release of the Grand Exchange didn't mean anything to me. However, after a few months, I started realizing that I could merchant to the Grand Exchange using what most people call flipping, which is buying an item and then selling it immediately after for a little bit more. This, in correlation with 91 rune crafting, meant that I could make a lot of money in a really short time. And so, finally, maxing out my favorite skill, construction, became practical. Here's a fun fact. You see that sailor's hat I'm wearing in this picture? Yeah, that's the one that caused me to go bald. For some reason a glitch removed my hair and I just haven't changed it since. This was the day that Jagex manually updated the price of granite because they updated how you could chisel it away into smaller sizes. I mean, seriously, just look at that 30-day percentage, that's crazy. I think this guy was having a little bit of trouble. Okay, this was definitely one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had. So I was at a drop party, and this guy was there, He didn't get a drop and he got really angry, and he started swearing and doing all sorts of rule-breaking things. I started talking to him. He said, "Oh, great, you know, I'm gonna be muted, blah 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 blah." Well, realizing he was obviously angry and probably not in his right mind, I didn't report him or mute him or anything, and we became friends. And so after that, he got one of his friends, and we started going around RuneScape. We went to the Grand Exchange, Varrock, Falador, and for some reason, everyone started following us until eventually we had this train that you couldn't even see beyond the map. Like I said, it was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had, but it's in my store of fondest memories too. After 99 construction, I took a short break and I wasn't really sure what to do next. But a lot of friends told me to do 99 Herblore, so I looked it up and researched a bit and decided to do Ranging Potions and then Sarah Brews to 99. This glitch occurred when you did the Give Thanks emote and entered building mode at the same time. Once I finished Herblore, I decided to pursue smithing. Smithing had always kind of scared me just because I thought it was slow and tedious, but it turned out to be pretty fun, especially with a lot of good friends hanging around. And so, with more money than I knew what to do with, I decided to achieve two goals. The first goal was to buy a party hat, and I achieved that by buying a yellow party hat for just a little bit over 100 mil. The second goal was to get a front page ranked skill, and I did that with construction on the day before 2009 began. Well, that was the year 2008 for me. I achieved a bunch of 99s and more money than I could ever imagine. If you're interested in more content by me, I've included a link to my website in the description of this video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and take care.